Good morning. It's the Call Flo Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Call Flo Radio Show. We are at WFLO AM. We're also broadcasting worldwide on the net at WFLO.net and live here at the Francis E. Wood Studio. I'm Chris Wood. We would like for you to hold on to your calls for the first half of our program today because we do have a very special, distinguished guest here behind our Francis E. Wood Studio microphone. It is Virginia State Senator Luther Cifers. Good morning, Luther.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
I'm sure you're busy.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a wild ride here.
How has your experience been as the new kid on the block, basically?
It's been really good. It's been really good. I've actually been pretty amazed at the parallels between politics and business. You know, my background, my experience, most of my adult life has been in business, but I'm seeing a lot of parallels. I think there's a lot of there's probably a lot more practicality and common sense in business. But there's a lot of room for it in politics. I think the thing I'm most excited about is the amount of opportunity that I see to just do a better job for the people of Virginia.
And you're the 10th district.
Yes, ma'am.
And, well, just tell us about what's been mainly going on, some of the issues that you've had to face.
Yeah, so, I mean, going into the first session, we came in a week late. You know, there were water issues in Richmond, and then I got sworn in a week after that. So it was very compressed. It's a very high-paced environment. But my goal for the first session was to kind of understand how to get around the track.
Right.
And I feel like we've accomplished that. So now in the off-season, what we're doing is just spending a lot of time out in the localities and listening to the voice of the citizen. You know, we've got the opportunity to bring up to 20 bills into session, in 2026. And I'm pretty sure people didn't elect me to bring my bright ideas to Richmond. They want me to serve their needs and their concerns and priorities. So the only way that I know to make sure that we bring the right stuff is to get out in the community, listen, try to understand what's going on. Energy is going to be a big topic over the next few years. We've got a influx of data centers, which are great economically, but they consume a lot of power. Yes. At the same time that we've got a lot of power restrictions on how we can produce power in the Commonwealth. So I think there's some work to do there. In general, I think just for me, from the lens that I view through, is just getting the government out of our hair as much as possible.
Regulations.
Let us live our lives.
Regulations.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all of these regulations and everything that kind of feel like you're being stifled a little bit?
I mean, that's the biggest reason I got into this. And especially now after being, let's call it, on the inside for, the better part of a year, what I realize is that we've got a very functional government in Virginia. There's a lot of good people on both sides of the aisle. And I think the intentions are for the most part, the vast majority, the intentions are good. But regardless of the intentions, the real situation on the ground is that we're regulated to the point now that a lot of the opportunities that I've been able to pursue in my life wouldn't be as easily accessible today as they were, 20, 30 years ago. So what I'm trying to do is just be that common sense, practical voice, the voice of the actual citizen. You asked me the question coming into this, do I prefer Senator or Luther? I prefer Luther. The way I see it, I'm literally one of the people. I'm just like the average Joe. And I think in politics, you get in that sphere and you stay in that sphere for too long, it's easy to stop thinking like the average person. We have a saying at Yak Attack that when we enter a new market or we're dealing with a new product category, we say we only have the opportunity to not know what we're doing for a brief amount of time, and after that we risk thinking like everybody else.
Right. Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is just bring that practical, boots on the ground perspective into the General Assembly. Hopefully now with our own bills. Last year we carried a few bills that were transferred, but this next session will bring bills that we're able to craft ourselves and just do the best that I can to represent working families.
Well, how do you feel about, as we're back into the regulations thing, but sometimes it feels like that you've got some of these bills and these rules and these they're already in place, basically. Mm-hmm. And instead of, if something goes wrong, or if there's a glitch or something like that, they just want to make a new bill or a new regulation instead of trying to fix it or get people in there that know what they're doing.
Gosh, that is very insightful. But what you said is 100% true. There are times that things you go back and dig it up and fix it and do it right. But most of the time, it's not. It's just, to me, what we do really well in government is we throw money and rules at problems. What we don't do as well is the deep dive that it takes to dig deep and find the right solutions, the ones that that solve the problem or that create the environment to really let citizens solve the problem. I think we have to remember that we're like, even in the government, we're just a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. We don't have some special something different than the average citizen. Our job is to represent. And I think if we get, a friend of mine used to, he had a New York accent. He would say, if we get too smart, we get a little too smart, next thing you know, we're not really representing anymore. But yes, I agree with you 100%. That's the tendency. But unfortunately, politically, it's also become the expectation. I mean, right. What I heard on the campaign trail is people feel like they're overregulated and they're overtaxed. Yet, what is the mark of a quote-unquote good legislator? How many bills did you get passed, and how much money did you spend? So, I think there's a right way to do that. I'm still figuring out strategically the best way. Again, for me, this is more about getting the government out of our way than creating new government solutions to problems. But I think there are sometimes opportunities where we can tweak the way that the government's involved with things that works better. And all of the above is kind of on the radar.
Well, actually, shouldn't that's usually starts at the state, the city level or the town level too, with your groups and all that. And I think that Farmville is doing a great job as far as bringing in solving solutions and things like that. But it does have to start from the groundwork. And you're right. You go from the rural to the city to into the big world of government, and it starts off with just regular people.
It does, and Virginia is a Dillon rule state, which means that even localities, they're only enabled legally by things that are passed in the General Assembly. So it means that sometimes a locality's hands may be tied by their own charter or by state law or whatever it is, and they need to be unencumbered. And my attitude is liberty should exist as close to the citizen as possible. So that means that to me, the federal government should push as much of its authority to the states as possible. The state should push as much of its authority to the localities as possible. But there's a third tier of that, is the locality should push as much liberty to the individual citizens as possible.
That's true.
And I believe on all three fronts, in the interest of perfecting society by spending enough money and passing enough laws, we've created a bit of a spider web of you're just not able to move in an agile, lean, efficient way anymore, and that's driving costs. It's reducing opportunity, and again, I think most of it was done with the best of intentions, but frankly, intentions don't matter.
That's a shame.
Well, what I mean is we have to solve it even if it was created for the quote-unquote right reasons.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, now, since you're out in the field and you've been talking to citizens around in local government and all of that, what are some of the issues that you find in talking in the local counties and all that, what pops up into your mind?
So, the 10th district is, for the most part, it's pretty rural counties. Mm-hmm. Even up in like Hanover and Louisa, it's a lot more rural than a lot of people think. So they share a lot of concerns, local land use issues. There were some efforts to remove some local authority on land use so that the state could approve solar farms and stuff like that, and kind of override the localities. People don't want to see that. Unfunded mandates, we pass at the state level. We pass legislation that requires the counties now to raise more money. I didn't realize, and I'll tell you, this is novice on me, and I'll say it right now on the air. I didn't realize how much of the salaries for like local schools and stuff like that have to derive from the locality. So when we passed a pay increase in the General Assembly, the state only provided a portion of that, and now the localities had to come up with the rest. And that wasn't even really a robust part of the debate, which it's a novice move on my part to not know that. I'll know it going into it next time. But essentially just unfunded mandates. We add a requirement to have a certain type of administrative staff in schools. Well, now the localities have to come up with that money. So when you see your local taxes, and people have been very sensitive in the last couple of years to local taxes, some of that's driven at the local level, but a lot of it's driven at the state level, and those are concerns that a lot of the local governments have. And then the one, so there's the problems that people see coming, and then there's the problems that, from the vantage point of politics, you can see that are coming, but that maybe aren't affecting people yet. So people who aren't really plugged in may not be aware of them. And the one that's coming, that's the big one, the tsunami, is energy. Our everything, the prices of everything have went up in the last several years. Energy is on the bubble of just exploding in price because of some of the restrictions in the Clean Economy Act. So what I'm hoping is, again, reaching across the aisle, working with my Democrat colleagues, and of course my colleagues in the Republican caucus, that we can find some solutions to, put the politics aside and let's focus on what's good for Virginia's families.
Yeah. Well, as far as now, you guys are off of session. When do you go back into session?
It'll be January.
In January.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, your agenda, how many bills are you thinking about putting forth? Some bills for yourself?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So the allocation is 20. And originally I thought, especially in the first year of carrying our own legislation, it would be probably half of that. But frankly, there's a lot of problems that need solving. So I think we're going to carry a full docket. I don't think all of those bills are going to make it through. And basically the way I've divided the off season here, from now until probably somewhere around the end of July, maybe sometime in August, we're just ideating. We're just listening to people. We're collecting ideas. We've got a huge list of potential legislation. But again, the more information and input that I get from the localities, that's continuing to take shape. So I'm going to do that for a time before we even get real serious about which bills to carry. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we're going to go kind of sift through that pile and say, okay, what do we think? A number of criteria. One that has a decent, reasonable chance of passage so that we can actually make a difference. Another would be, just making sure that they don't have unintended consequences. Again, a lot of things are done with the best of intentions, but if they have unintended consequences. And then just trying to knock out as many problems as we can with as little bit legislation as possible. And then what we think we can competently carry. One of the ways that you get a bill passed is you have to be able to debate that bill and argue its merits and argue against opposition. So if it's a topic that you're not passionate about or not well informed on, probably not the best one for you to carry. Maybe we pass that off to a colleague that may have an interest in a skill set in that particular area. So all of that criteria will determine what we carry. And then of the 20 bills, I think we're going to end up with something like a third of them will be just addressing local issues. Like when you have, each county has a charter, some set of like bylaws, and those laws are enacted or enabled at the state level. So there might be technical fixes. We've already seen a few that are needed for some of these counties. That's going to eat up probably about a third of the docket.
That's really complicated too, isn't it? It can get complicated.
It's a little convoluted. I'll tell you, coming into it every day was like a whole new window opened of understanding how things work. But I guess it's like everything. Once you see it, it's not as complicated, once you've kind of been through the process once. But I guess I would describe it this way. To me, so far, this has been like something that you can get familiar enough to be functional really quickly and probably spend a lifetime and still be learning.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But, the other kind of like third of those bills will be things that we think have a reasonable chance of passage that make the lives of everyday Virginians better. And then the last third is sometimes it takes multiple years to get legislation through. And sometimes the way you start, whether it's, local, state, or national conversations, is with legislation. So some of this is going to be just conversation starters that hopefully we build support and momentum over time that maybe, we'll see if I run for a second term, but at least towards the end of this term, maybe in that last session, we have a better chance of passage after getting through a couple of debate cycles and building support. I think the good solutions, it's not that unlike, again, the business parallels, it's not that unlike product development. You can sit down and address a new product in the context of existing products and competitors and all that stuff, and you can come up with a solution pretty quickly. But to come up with something that's really meaningful and that really moves the needle and that really changes the industry, you have to dig way down below that.
Like the what ifs.
That's right. Yeah, the unintended consequences, but also just the ideation. Great ideas sometimes come in a flash, and sometimes they're the result of a lot of analysis, a lot of talking to a lot of people, a collaborative, cross-functional, approach, and that takes time.
It really does. It takes some time, a lot of involvement, and as you mentioned before, a lot of passion, a lot of interest.
Yes.
How do you get along? I mean, not political, but bipartisan, partisan. How do you get along with the other party there? I mean, is that an issue, or is that?
Well, one of the really surprising things to me, so, of course, in the Virginia General Assembly, you have the House of Delegates and you have the State Senate. Well, the first thing that was interesting is how little cross-pollination during session there is between the House of Delegates and the State Senate. One of my colleagues in the House of Delegates told me, he said, your biggest surprise is going to be that we won't see each other until session's over. And he was almost right. We made it a point to go to dinner one night, but that's pretty much how it is. I mean, the House stays over on the House side, the Senate stays over on the Senate side, and I'm sure the leadership mingles more than, us more junior folks. But so that was surprising. But the other one, the one that really shocked me, is in the Virginia Senate, the collegiality and decorum between the two sides of the aisle. I mean, there are robust floor debates. There are some issues that we are just diametrically opposed on, but the level of respect in debate, the way that people treat each other after session, one of my goals for this offseason, and I've been slowly collecting the phone numbers of my Democrat colleagues to set it up, and so far 100% of them have been receptive, is to visit every Democrat senator in their district. And, part of that is about, building relationships, because to get things done, you have to have relationships.
That's right.
But the other part of it is, we've become so divided in this country. And a lot of people will say, yeah, but you toe the Republican line, you're part of the division. Well, I think there's a way that you can approach these things that create honest conversations, but that are also empathetic and trying to understand, no matter how wrong you think the other side is, at least understand why they're wrong. You know what I mean? And I say that a little bit tongue in cheek, but that's a very different approach than you're evil.
Right.
So, and what I know is that we're all human beings. Again, after going through the first session, what I believe is that, yes, there's a certain percentage of partisan gamemanship and stuff like that goes on. But for the most part, you've got well-intentioned people that, even if they are wrong, or even if we are wrong at times, are trying to do the right thing by the people in Virginia. So, sitting down, unpack it a little bit philosophically. Why and the issues I'm most interested in talking about in these conversations are actually the issues that people scream at each other about over social media, but that's completely unnecessary. What I want to understand is, why do you think that way? And what I want them to understand is why I think that way. So when I vote against something, or when I vote for something, at least the person on the other side of the aisle knows that it's not because I'm a, what you pick your adjective,
Right.
And I could think of quite a few right now that get hurled at us from time to time. But, I would like for them to understand that philosophically, there are reasons for the way that I
Yeah,
think.
we're all human.
And it's
you know.
absolutely not because I don't care about people. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah. Well, listen, how can people get in touch with you if they have an issue or if they have a question
Yes.
or a concern or whatever? How are you? You're relatively easy to get in touch with.
Yes, I am. And I'm really glad you asked that question. One of the main parts of our duty is constituent services. So if people out there are having problems with a state office, the DMV, I had someone actually just yesterday who's trying to navigate the social service system because her granddaughter is in foster care, and her husband are, wonderful people, and they would like to have their granddaughter and raise her, and it's just kind of lost in the shuffle in the state. So we're going to help them with that. So any kind of state agency issues, my chief of staff, Sophia Fairman, she is a wizard with getting things taken care of for people.
Wizardress.
Well, wizardress, yeah, as it may be. So yeah, she's just amazing at getting things done for folks. We've been involved with a bunch of different constituent cases already, and I think almost every one of them has come to a positive conclusion. Senator Cifers at senate.virginia.gov is probably the easiest way.
Okay.
But even through our social media page, you send a message there. If you go to the Virginia Senate website, there's the office phone number. I should know that off the top of my head. I don't have it, but that rings Sophia directly. And I do office hours here in my office at 201 North Main here in Farmville. Right now, as you can see, coming off of shoulder surgery.
Oh, yeah. I had carpal tunnel surgery about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, this is 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So in recovery now, so I've had a little bit of a light schedule, but we're starting to get ramped back up. So when we have these office hour days, please, if people have concerns, questions, need help with stuff, come. Or just want to sit down and talk about things, come see me.
All right. Well, I saw your strap, but I didn't see your outfit.
Yeah. This is 3 weeks ago. It's rotator cuff and partial bicep detachments and bone spurs. But it's been actually a little shout out to Dr. Sharma Vivek Sharma at VCU. Amazing surgeon. He did a just incredible job. Pain's been manageable and seems like probably headed towards a full recovery. So
That's
I'm
great.
Really happy about that.
That's great. All right. Well, we certainly, and this won't be the last time we hear from you, I hope.
Well, I'd love to come every time I'm invited. So
all right.
Appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure to have you here, and good luck. Also,
Thank you.
Congratulations, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Chris.
All
And
right.
thanks for what you guys do.
Take care.
God bless.
All right. That was State Senator Luther Cifers with us for the 10th District. And he, of course, will be back with us to let us know what's going on up there on Capitol Hill there in Richmond. You're in tune with WFLO. We do have open lines now at 434-394-0924. And it is 8:30. And so we've got our weather forecast coming up. This edition of the weather is brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County.
Hello, I'm Stuart Wilborn, manager of the Bank of Charlotte County Loan Office in downtown Farmville. With over 30 years of banking experience, I'm here to help you finance your commercial, agricultural, or personal project. Give us a call at 391-1136 or stop by our downtown office at 216 North Main Street, where you'll find old school personal assistance with attention to detail. The Bank of Charlotte County, giving you more for your banking needs. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
All right. Forecast for Southside and Central Virginia for today calls for lots of sunshine. It'll be warm with a high of 88 degrees. For tonight, mostly clear with a low of 64. On Thursday, sunny and hot, high around 92. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low of 68. On Friday, mostly sunny. Then we'll see about a 30% chance of some thunderstorms coming up with a high of 91 degrees. Friday night, we'll see a 30% chance of thunderstorms and showers. Otherwise, look for a low of 69 under cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy on Saturday with a chance of thunderstorms at 50%. Look for a high around 90 degrees on Saturday. Saturday night, 70% chance of thunderstorms. Excuse me. Got that a little mixed up. A 40% chance of some thunderstorms with a low around 70 degrees. And for Sunday, we'll see partly sunny skies and showers likely with a high of 88 degrees. That chance is at 60%. Your humidity is at 79%. Our barometer is at 30.10 inches. You can expect the sun to set around 8:34 this evening. Our winds are calm from the north, and we have some sunshine outside. And at 8:32, it is 72 degrees. So we did have a morning low of 64. That is your weather forecast brought to you by the Bank of Charlotte County with branch locations in Phoenix, Charlotte Courthouse, Brookneal, and their loan office in downtown Farmville. All right, we do have our birthday calendar coming up, so we'll get Noah Massage in here for that. And it's brought to you by Terry Atkins Wilson, PC.
The law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, is located at 117 North Main Street in downtown Farmville. With deep roots in Farmville and our surrounding communities, Terry and her legal staff specialize in real estate law, wills and trusts, and business formations. Experience and professionalism are extended to every customer in every case. The needs and concerns of every customer are their primary focus. If you have legal needs, contact the law office of Terry Atkins Wilson, PC, for a consultation at 434-392-1422.
And we haven't said good morning to Noah, but we're going to say good morning to Noah right now. Good morning, Noah.
Good morning, Chris. How you doing
Do you
today?
have the list already?
What's that?
You have the list already?
I already got it right here in my hands.
Okay, all right. Well,
Great interview, by the way, with Luther.
oh, thank
Senator
you.
Cifers.
Thank you. He was there. They're easy. He's easy to
He's a
interview.
nice
Yes,
guy.
full of nice information. Nice guy. All right, give us those birthdays for today, this 11th day of June.
My goodness. Well, we have one right here. And I just want to say happy anniversary to Victoria Wilson Najjar and Dylan Najjar of Staunton, Virginia, who are celebrating their 9th wedding anniversary. They are Terry and Wilson's daughter and son-in-law. So
All right, congratulations
very exciting
to them.
anniversary
Yes.
right there. And we have one other thing to announce. It's a birthday. Happy birthday to Bob Horn celebrating today. Bob Horn.
Bob Horn. Okay.
Bob Horn.
All right.
So that's the list.
How do they
Chris.
get those names to us, Noah?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. So you can call in 434-394-0924. You can also email us at birthdays@wflo.net or on our website. Now you can submit birthdays directly from our website. So very, very handy, very informative.
Very easy.
Very easy.
All right.
The
Sounds
ease
good.
is so great.
Of course, we wish everybody out there
Of
celebrating
course.
today. I hope they have a great day. Well, let's see. How are you? How have you been?
I've been doing well. I've been, busy. We got the intern now, and he's been doing very good. He's been doing a lot of different things and learning a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to have him. So that's been a fun. Never had the opportunity to train an intern. So that's kind of nice and show him the ropes.
Show them the ropes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
I've trained people on how to flip burgers. No, I'm kidding. That's not even true. I've been trained on how to flip burgers. That's it.
That's good.
But this is, it's been
Well, we'll
nice.
talk about flipping burgers
Yeah,
in a little
sure.
bit, but we have a caller. So we will definitely say good morning. You're on the Call Flo Show.
Good morning. I'm calling my sister's birthday today. Her name is Annie Brown in Buckingham. Over in Dillon.
Annie Brown from Dillon.
Yeah, she's 79 years old today.
Oh.
79.
Wow,
All
yeah.
right. We've got
Thank
that.
you.
And all right. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Danny Brown celebrating today.
Annie Brown
Oh,
of Dillon
goodness.
celebrating. She's 79 today.
Wow.
So congratulations to Annie.
Yeah.
I like
I said
that name.
Danny. My bad. Annie.
Annie. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, I will say this experience, Chris, has given me incredible respect. I already had a very, very high
people,
respect
yeah,
teachers in
yeah,
the
right.
education, field.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself kind of. You kind of give parts of yourself
Sure you
away.
do.
And,
Absolutely.
it requires a certain patience, a certain endurance as well. I don't know how teachers do it day in and day out. And that's
I don't know if I have the patience for that. My mother, I got this trait from my father. They tell me that I'm curt,
Oh, Kurt. Yeah.
or I'm terse,
Yeah.
or I just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
That type of person.
Yeah.
But I don't consider myself that way. But anyway,
Very
I might
straightforward,
Come across
very-
straightforward, and I have an expressive face, I guess.
Yeah, very much so.
So,
I
you
get
can
that.
always tell what kind of maybe a
What
mood
you're
I'm in
thinking.
and what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, well,
so-
you can fix that. They sell a patience supplement you can buy at the store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but I don't have tact.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I lack the tact.
You do what you don't have in tact. You do make up for in charisma.
I do?
Yes,
Oh.
you do indeed.
Okay. I'll take that.
Of course, Chris, very charismatic.
All right, we've got another caller. And we'll say, good morning, you're on the air.
All right. Good morning.
Well, good
to
morning,
you.
Henry.
Yes, you all are fine. How am I?
How are you?
I don't know, but Alaska
Oh, well,
has a little.
okay.
Oh well. Have you ever been to Alaska? And I said no.
Gnome. All right. We're having a geography
Okay.
lesson
Yes,
here.
we are.
Yeah, I just made that up, by the way, as I was saying it. I know a guy lost his wallet in the river, and that put an end to his cash flow.
I bet. Gotcha.
Little boy called his school and told him, he said, Johnny can't be at school today. This is my daddy calling.
I gave himself away.
Yeah. Another little boy called school and said, I can't be there today because I have a pane in my window.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you for laughing. You can send me a bill.
Okay.
The shoe had no strings attached, so it kept sticking its tongue out at the sole runner.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that.
It would also slipper cash. Slipper.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, the boxing match was fine till it got struck, and then it was out like a light.
See, I can't think of things like that. I can't do a play on
Yeah.
words like that.
Our
Cool.
shoes must have come from overseas, because we used polish remover on them.
Okay.
When I was growing up, if I ever did, our stove was really old because it smoked a pipe.
Oh.
wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The couple had two small children, one tinkler and one toddler. One tinkled and the other one toddled.
That's sweet.
Did you hear about the latest sports item? This guy went to see his shoe box.
Very good.
Yeah. Our wood stove kept burning up, so we bought a metal one.
Yeah.
Ah, me. They said his family wasn't wealthy, but they did own two porches, one front porch and one back porch.
That's cool. I like that.
Okay. I also had a serious little thing I'd like to share with you. this morning. Several years ago, I went to a live bluegrass show at Big Island, Virginia, and I went backstage where the band was warming up, getting ready to go on, but the banjo player was just standing there. His banjo was still in the case, and his right hand, his picking hand, had large wrapping around it. And he said he'd hurt his hand and would not be able to play the banjo. So I said to him, look, it's about 15 minutes before showtime, so let's pray over your hand, because a bluegrass band is not a bluegrass band unless there's a banjo in it. So we prayed for his swollen hand, and I went back into the audience and sat down. In 6 or 8 minutes, the band came on, and the banjo player was he was leading, and he was burning up that old 5-string banjo.
Wow.
So I believe the Lord also wanted to hear the banjo that day. And that also greatly strengthened my faith.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it encouraged me that when he gives a nudge to do something, do it.
Mm-hmm. That's
you
right.
know.
Yep. He who hesitates is lost.
Beg pardon?
He who hesitates is lost. That's what my mother always used to say.
Right.
Yeah.
My hearing is not the best.
I'm sorry.
After many, many dozens of years of wearing earphones.
Mm-hmm.
But, so my hearing is not the best. That's why I had to pull 6 months. It's because of my hearing. But anyway, that was a bed joke. B-E-D, bed joke. I just made it up.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, seriously speaking, this is seriously speaking. Give me a call, and we'll have prayer, or we'll just fellowship. And the number is 414-0096.
Okay.
414-0096. And I look forward to hearing from somebody, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have another story.
Okay, Henry. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all. God bless.
Bless you too. Bye-bye.
Area code 434, by the way.
Yes, that is area code 434. That's right. All right.
Yeah, well,
Let's
that was
see
nice.
what we were talking about.
I think we were just kind of,
Well,
chatting
anyway.
a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. I've got my recipe
Oh.
of the week
Yes.
for everybody. For those of you who like crab meat, this is crab rangoon casserole. Now, it's a noodle casserole with surimi crab in a creamy, cheesy sauce topped with crisp wonton chips, excuse me. It's rich and delicious as your favorite crab rangoon appetizer. So we're going to do this. All right, your ingredients are as follows. 1 pound of wide egg noodles. That's wide egg noodles. 2 tablespoons of butter. 2 cups of heavy cream. 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese softened. 1 pound of surimi crab legs cut into 1-inch pieces.
Yes.
8 ounces of mozzarella cheese shredded. 8 ounces of wonton chips. 1 bunch of green onions sliced. And sweet chili sauce
Very nice.
for garnish. And that's optional. Okay, you preheat your oven to 400 degrees. You grease a 9 by 13-inch casserole dish. Then you bring a large pot of salted water to a boil over high heat Add your egg noodles and cook until tender with a bite. That's about 6 to 8 minutes. You drain those and set them aside. You add butter, heavy cream, and cream cheese to a saucepan. Place over medium heat and cook, stirring until sauce is smooth. About 5 minutes, then remove that from the heat and set aside as well. You add noodles to the prepared casserole dish. I guess that's on the bottom. You top with the crab and half of the mozzarella cheese. You pour the sauce on top and stir to combine.
Oh.
Smooth out the mixture and top with the remaining cheese. Then you bake in a preheated oven until casserole is golden brown and bubbly.
That sounds delicious.
About 25 to 30 minutes, and you garnish with the wonton chips, the green onions, and the sweet chili sauce if desired. Serve immediately.
Yeah. Wow.
That just sounds good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I love crab. I think crab's amazing.
I love crab meat as well. I'm wondering if that would work with shrimp.
Maybe.
I don't know for sure. But anyway, we'll have that for you on our website
Yes, we will.
a little bit later on.
Thank you.
It does. It sounds wonderful.
It does. Yeah, I love.
I can't wait to make that.
Aren't crabs though like the I don't know, the bugs of the ocean kind of? That's the whole. I know shrimp are like, because they're just like on the ground. They eat off.
I'm not sure. That might be good with lobster as well.
Lobster. Oh, yeah.
The recipe.
Oh, lobster. I'm thinking is
Or chicken.
something. I don't know. It could be good with anything. Yeah,
That sounds like it.
Maybe
You could
even something non-meat.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
like I don't know.
Like a zucchini.
A zucchini. Yeah, some vegetables. Yeah. Do you eat tofu?
No.
Okay. Do you not like tofu?
No. Yes. No. I don't.
You
like tofu.
don't like tofu?
No.
Is it because it kind of it's close to being like a meat, but it's not really a meat at all, and like it smells kind of weird if you smell it?
I'm not one for eating anything raw.
Sure.
Except for vegetables.
Sure.
Stuff like that. I just don't.
Me and Katie.
Now I'll eat some smoked salmon.
The smoked salmon's nice.
Yeah, with a little cream cheese or a little something on top.
I like that.
Yeah.
We made tofu because she feels bad for eating chickens and cows. And
she's one of those.
one of those people. Ugh, no.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, she's not.
I'm just saying she's just one of those people.
And by the way, she's not a vegetarian. She does eat meat a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, bacon.
But I think that she would prefer that she did not know where it came from.
She feels bad. Like it doesn't happen. It's not every time she finishes eating a burger, but it's sometimes she finishes eating a burger. She just has this kind of mournful period for a few minutes where she's like, I can't believe So look, I get it. So anyways, we made tofu.
Well, you can always pray before.
God forgive me what I'm about to do.
Yeah. Please, I hope
this cow had a good life.
Bless its spirit or whatever.
I hope it lived many years.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And so, anyways, it's been it's not that big. It's not a big deal at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a part of.
All right. So you made tofu the other night.
We made tofu. This was a couple of weeks ago now, but because she was like, we should eat something like non-meat related. Let's get and like tofu's like the supplement. It's like the vegetarians or a guide.
What exactly is it?
I don't even. It's like maybe. Like almost, it's this white stuff in it. I don't know if there's dairy in it. I'm gonna look it up. I don't have my phone on me. Maybe if you want to look up where does tofu come from. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. But so we were cooking and we cooked it. Somebody's probably gonna tell me where it comes from because like I know. I feel like I know. I've been told before, but is it like dairy related? Just it's got this caller is gonna know.
I'm not sure. Good morning. You're on the Call Flo Show.
First time caller.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just missed you this morning.
Oh, yes?
I think so. Were you here by the station?
Oh, yes. Oh, you were the hot gal that parked next to me.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
Yeah.
And you're the hot guy that got into the really pretty white pickup truck.
Oh, yeah. Are you done with the story, Noah?
No. But I think it would be better if you kind of told us the origin of tofu.
I believe it's just bean curd.
Bean curds.
Together, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyways, we made this tofu, and it was seasoned like meat. Black cracked pepper, salt, a little cumin, little spices. We're slapping that on the tofu. We're like banging it, slapping it on the counter. We're really treating it like it's a piece of meat. And I'm helping Katie because I usually cook. Like when I cook, I want to cook alone. Sometimes I'll cook with Katie, and it's like a nice thing that we're doing it together. But like, I genuinely get the best meals when I'm just fully focused and I'm not like,
right.
somebody's helping me because I just need to be totally in the zone. That's where I've made some of the best meals of my life. So anyways, I'm kind of like helping Katie, but then like she wanted to take it away. She was like, "Oh, I think I got it. And so like anyways, the tofu, we kind of grilled it on a pan, kind of like how you would pan sear something. They're little thin pieces too, so nothing too crazy. And then we put it in the sauce, right? It is like kind of browned, very flavorful, kind of sodium-filled sauce. And
Okay.
And so, anyways, it was supposed to be kind of like a chewy, almost like a tender beef kind of texture. It was supposed to be like you cut into it and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
It was like I'm trying to think of something hard that's not offensive to compare it to. It was like eating
maybe the first time caller has
like sun-dried tomato or sun-dried raisins, or the raisins that are in the box, that little cardboard box.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was just very tough. And like I grabbed a piece out of this sauce that it was marinating in for 20 minutes or so, and I grabbed this piece. It literally broke like a chip. It was like you could hear the and I was like that's not right. Something's wrong here. But anyways, that was my experience with that. It was supposed to be, I was sold on this idea it was gonna be tender like beef. And look, I get it. I've had also
sort of like jerky, right?
Harder
than jerky.
It was like okay. Have you ever you worked in a restaurant, Chris, right?
No.
Okay, I thought you worked as a waitress.
No.
I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else, I guess. Anyways, like at a restaurant, they in the back next to the big grills, they have these grill bricks. They're like these blocks that are just hard, and you scrub the grill. It takes off the grease, right?
Right.
But you can break them, and you can just see the carbon fly into the air, like the dust of like whatever it's made of. So, anyways, that's what these were like. Kind of, you would just kind of crack them open, and you see this dust fly out that was blackened over the from the pan, I guess.
And that's funny. You chipped the tooth.
No, man, it's rough. It was a rough meal, but to be fair, I think I really contributed to its downfall with cooking it too long. I just wasn't used to tofu,
Well, first time caller.
Yes.
Have you had tofu?
Yes, ma'am. I experiment with it quite often. I haven't succeeded, and sometimes I just have this craving for like a chicken salad sandwich. So I tried to get the tofu to just crisp up just a little bit on the sides, and it is just it's just a cluster.
So what are you supposed to do? Eat the stuff raw? What do you do with it?
No, I wouldn't suggest. When you go to the Oriental restaurants, you get it in some of the stuff, and they use there's different grades. There's extra soft, and then firm. So then it depends on what you're going to do with it. It will depend on which one you choose.
You must have chosen firm.
And then,
no.
Me? I want to say we got soft and it ended up being firm, but I might be wrong.
But I think it's something you have to really play with if you want to master it.
Yeah.
So just expect on throwing a lot away.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered it, so I just bypass it. I'll just use a veggie instead.
Okay. All right.
So, but anyway, I have a quick little story, kind of. It's humorous, I guess. To somebody might laugh under their breath. And so I was at a gas station maybe a day or two ago, and there was this. If you could stereotype an old farmer, And he was in an old Ford pickup, like old rusty sides and yada yada. And he had a sign on the side of, and it was spelled CHITTLERING, best in town. All right.
Yeah, Chitterlings.
So I'm looking at it, and I go over and I'm like, what in the heck is a chitterling?
Chitlins. Yeah.
Yes, and he says, "Oh, chitlins," and I'm like, "Is this the way it's properly spelled?"
Yes,
it
is.
Yeah. Huh. It is totally spelled different than the way it's pronounced.
That's correct.
Unless that is just, oh my God.
It could be slang.
Yeah, I felt,
it's chitlins though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you sampled them?
No.
Oh. Because I never saw the sign. When I come down here, I saw a sign on the KFC, a bucket of gizzards. And I'm like, what in the heck? They eat everything down here.
Sick.
All the parts.
Chicken gizzards. Yeah.
I will say, yeah, there is a weird thing. I think it's just a region kind of thing.
Well, I go through the meat counters,
Sure.
The grocery stores, and I see pig's feet, and
Sure.
then I see tongue and all this stuff and brains.
I would
I'm
run out the store if I saw that at a.
It's like going through a horror movie or something like that.
The
But
Saw Massacre.
people do eat that stuff.
Speaking of things that are have slang, the intern here doing a great job, by the way. And we were talking the other day, and he had peanut butter crackers. Everybody's familiar with the Lancer peanut butter crackers.
Sure, the nabs. They call them nabs.
That's what they call them. I was like, what is a nab? And he was like, oh, peanut butter crackers.
Yeah.
And he calls them peanut butter crackers, but he also calls them nabs. And I've never heard that in my life. And I was like, well, what is a nab?
Oh, my gosh.
It like the word nab makes me sick inside for some reason. I don't know why. But it makes me a little ill.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to...
Like a mountain oyster, huh?
Yeah. We're going to have to continue this conversation tomorrow because we're out of time.
We are out of time.
But
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it was nice almost to meet you. Maybe next time
I know. Oh my God.
Yep.
Honestly, I didn't know who it was. He was dressed in sunglasses. It was like somebody dressing incognito. He just had a paper bag and sunglasses on. He was like, "Here, take this," and I'm like, "What is this? What is
and
this?"
And who are you?
I know. I should have lit it on fire and ran, huh?
I don't know about that. All right.
But anyway,
we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right, Chris, that's going to wrap it up for us.
That is going to wrap it up for us.
You're on next.
It's been fun. I am on next, playing some great music and all that good stuff. So
Looking forward to it.
All right. Take care. Great remainder of your day. Stay cool.
Will do.
All right.